I am Mrs. Laneous, reviewer of the Miscellaneous. Well, we're in the middle of December 2015, almost Christmas, but already past Hanukkah. You know, it really is a shame that there aren't that many more Hanukkah specials out there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Christmas specials too, but, well, let's put it this way. Off the top of my head, I cannot begin to count how many Christmas specials I can think of. Hanukkah specials, however, I can only come up with two. Yeah, two Hanukkah specials. Namely, the Hanukkah episode of Shalom Sesame and the greatest holiday special ever made. So yeah, it would be nice to have some more variety out there. Like, have another Hanukkah special, any kind of Hanukkah specials, just so we have a... What's this? Hanukkah at Bubbe's. Right! I remember now. This is that VHS I've had laying around forever, but I never actually watched. Come to think of it, I'm not entirely sure where it even came from. Can't be that weird. Can it?
Many years ago, in a primitive European village, there was a man who made dressmaker dummies. But his business was beyond terrible. The dummies looked less like a woman's waist, and more like the bizarre top halves of people and animals. After months of poor sales, the dummy maker went bankrupt, forced to sleep in the ruins of a stable with his creations. Refusing to be defeated, he used an ancient Slovenian incantation to imbue the dummies with the spirit and life force of the vermin in the neighboring tomato fields. The spirit force could take the form of any sort of storytelling item, be it a book, a painting, or a VHS. It traveled around the world, waiting for someone to hear what it had to say, for only when it had been given attention could it finally, peacefully, end its existence. But no one ever gave it attention. Ever.
Let's take a look. So from what I can tell, this is from some 1980s Jewish children's video series called Bubbe's Boarding House. There appear to have been only 2 episodes made, this one and a Passover one. The puppet designs were done by a fellow named David Silverman. This man would go on to be an animator for some obscure cartoon. He even directed that obscure cartoon's feature film. I doubt you've ever heard of it. I think it was called something like, I don't know, maybe The Simpsons? That explains how Bart seemed to nab a dual role in this thing. The music for the video was done by one Phil Barron. And if we've got Simpsons pedigree on here, this guy's gotta be pretty interesting too. What's he known for?
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin.
We open on Bubbe herself, who's totally voiced by a woman.
Anyway, it's 20 pounds of potatoes, 10 pounds of apples, 9 chickens, 8 candles, and a dozen dreidels.
And she's trying to get everything ready for a Hanukkah party, but the groceries seem to be late! And her glasses are missing, which really doesn't have any point or importance. I'm assuming that somebody forgot to put glasses on the puppet and the crew just went with it. And either the puppeteer's supposed to be hidden sleeve is getting conspicuously in frame, or Bubbe and other characters with that trait have some sort of double arm deformity. Anyway, the groceries arrive, and Bubbe explains Hanukkah to the delivery boy.
Dan, I'd really love to stay, but
No. Wait for dinner, dear.
Oh, sorry.
Are they like relatives of hers or something?
Mrs. Bubbe, are they like relatives of yours or something?
Actually, this is my boarding house, and I have guests who rent rooms here.
Okay, so when did Hey Arnold become a weird Muppet knockoff? So Bubbe's grandkids, Zack and Muffin, and their friend Chester are coming up to the boarding house and...
Bubbe's boarding house.
Oh God, no! Holy Merdra, this is so much of a cheesy puppet musical number that it kind of transcends normal cheesy puppet musical number levels, and it becomes some sort of stereotype of cheesy puppet musical numbers. I don't think I can take another second of this! You know what? Screw it. The review's over. I'm gonna go grab some Del Taco. I just realized I'm not hungry.
Now let's go see Bubbe.
We play this fun game where you spin a dreidel.
Why don't we just go inside and see Bubbe?
Last year, Bubbe, that's our grandmother, gave us these hats.
Kinda random time to explain what Bubbe means, isn't it? Of course, I'm assuming that you would have explained it to Chester by now, like, I don't know, maybe when you asked him to come with you to your Bubbe's place? I'm also kinda confused as to why Muffin's telling Chester about what happens at Hanukkah, seeing how he claims to have had some Hanukkah experience with his grandparents.
Zach, you silly, we've been standing in front of Bubbe's house all this time.
I told my parents that I wanted a brother.
Why would ignoring you saying let's go in be dependent on whether your sibling is male or female?
Yeah, what do you want?
We're here to see.
We don't want any.
Who put the grumpy, presumptuous rhino in charge of the door? Luckily, Zach has a plan to get in!
We're busy.
But I know the secret password.
What secret password?
I can't tell you that. It's a secret.
I didn't know there was a secret password.
Sure, you can't get in without the password.
Well, how did I get in?
Maybe there was a mistake.
Anybody back there know the secret password? Anybody who doesn't know the secret password? Outside.
Because logic.
Well, glad I took care of that.
Oh, yeah, that's bad. Oops. Okay. Here, try that in. Oh, okay.
Well, I know what's gonna be in my nightmares tonight. Her arms are the only thing moving of their own accord. Her face almost looks dead. I expect her to turn around and start mauling everyone.
Bubbe!
Zachary,
Whoa! Off the lips! Off the lips!
Bubbe!
And Chester just introduced himself to an old lady by tackling her to the ground. Twice.
Chester, this is Bubbe.
Bubbe! This is Anton.
Ah, there's Anton, the dickish guy who wants everything done his way, has a head that I feel a strange need to censor, and talks like a Sam Eagle impression.
We're going to do it my way, and everyone's going to eat tomato latke.
That sounds awful.
Muffin, he's an expert at this. He said so.
Okay, so apparently he said so is undeniable concrete evidence now. Can't wait to use it in court someday.
Well, why don't you just make your tomato latkes, and we'll make potato latkes, and then everyone will have a choice.
So Anton recruits Chester to help him make tomato latkes.
We'll be rid of those dumb potato latkes for good.
But Anton, what's wrong with potato latkes anyway?
Well, for one thing, they're really passé.
Well, I'm convinced we should totally give up potato latkes and use tomatoes instead, because...
We've just got to convince those bozos that they should join the tomato generation. And I'll be the biggest tomato of all. Everything will be my way. Ha ha! My way. Do it my way.
What the hell am I watching right now?
Do it my way.
I don't know if Frank Sinatra is exactly spinning in his grave, but I'm sure he's having some kind of reaction.
Sponges! This gives me an idea!
Meanwhile, Bubbe finally realizes that everyone's outside trying to guess the password.
Why don't we just go back in the house and knock off this funny business?
Whoa, where did that come from? And they just trampled an old lady. Happy Hanukkah, everyone!
At Chanukkah we remember the valiant Maccabees who wouldn't let oppression
Because little kids are familiar with words like oppression.
light up the candles every night. It's a beautiful sight.
So they sing about the beauty of lighting the Hanukkah candles and, well, there's one little moment in there that kinda disturbs me.
The miracle, so we watch them burn.
I know, sounds kinda innocent, but put it with the right footage and...
Thou preparest the table for me. My head thou anoints with oil, and fillest my cup full, that I may dwell in the Lord's house
Okay, so on a less morbid note, it's finally time for the Great Latke Taste Test!
All right, everyone, first try this delicious sample, which no one will realize are my tasty tomato latkes.
Which no one will realize even though I'm whispering at full volume.
I wouldn't paper the walls with these.
Yeah.
Wow, they're falling from the ceiling. Even God must hate them.
Hey, everyone, now try this yucky second batch.
None of them fall for the substituted sponges, which leads to this final result.
73% of those surveyed picked my tomato latkes.
And 82% of those not surveyed.
Right. So, now you will all eat latkes my way.
How does that add up? At all. Especially if they didn't even try the sponges, which renders this kind of invalid, right? And this was supposed to be against Bubbe's latkes to begin with, so again, totally invalid, right? And as if that weren't enough, it also turns out that Anton's pretty much the big Julie of dreidel games.
You put a gimmel on every side of this dreidel.
It's my dreidel, so we play my way.
Wait, remind me, how many games of dreidel did they play?
Oh, sure.
Anton's won 11 times straight.
11. You played dreidel 11 times and you didn't realize it was rigged. I mean, if it was, like, loaded, I'd understand. But he painted a gimmel on every side of the thing. You didn't realize that. You're stupid. In fact, I'm noticing that Anton is pretty much controlling how the dreidel lands, even though it's already got a gimmel on every side. Whatever, let's move on to the story of Hanukkah.
It all started in the year 167 before our era.
How old were you then, Bubbe?
Muffin?
I was 85. Trillion. So we flash back to the days of oppression, with the cast playing the various characters.
Antiochus is about to make a proclamation.
Do we have to listen to another one of their proclamations, Father?
Father? Bubbe's playing a man for some reason? I mean, just because she's the matriarch and I'm assuming is voiced by a man doesn't mean we have to turn this into Yentl.
Antiochus Epiphanes.
That's why I want you to be Greek. Just a few no-nos for you Jews to keep in mind. Let's see, oh, this is good. Starts with things you cannot believe in.
Oh, so that's Anton's deal. He's paralleling the Hanukkah story, right down to the name even. The weird part is I think he's in the Passover one too. I didn't actually watch the Passover one, I just checked a thing or two. Like, if Anton would be in it even though he's directly referencing Antiochus, which has nothing to do with the Passover story, and right now I'm rambling. Sorry. Ow!
Oh,
What a bargain.
We wouldn't do that.
No, stop! Be yourselves! Jews don't worship idols!
Yes, man, Bubbe! Deliver that inspirational speech!
Wants you to. That's no reason to stop being yourselves!
Is this a good reason?
Whoa, this got violent!
So, Mattathias and his children had to flee the city. But more and more people joined them in their mountain camp. And soon, they were a whole army, ready to fight for religious freedom and the right to be themselves.
Yay, Hanukkah story! So, now that we got that out of the way, why don't we move on to some of the other stuff with it?
Be yourself, no matter where the wind blows.
Be yourself, whatever you do.
Really? Are you serious? We're turning this into a whole be yourself thing? Look, I'm not saying it has no relevance. I get where it's coming from. I'm not entirely sure why this annoys me so much. Maybe it's because we're taking this holiday and just using it for a generic message that we've seen a million times. Like I said, really rubs me the wrong way for some reason. Oh yeah, and for some reason Chester's trying out mouse ears and a fake rhino horn because someone has to demonstrate the moral.
Now what do? I'll just turn the stove all the way up.
Yeah, that ain't dangerous at all. So now they begin coring apples, which does lead to probably the most legitimately funny moment in the video.
One.
Although, is it me or did they mess up on this one? And then the apple misses, and then Bubbe isn't even looking at him, just blankly off into the distance.
Could I try coring an apple too?
You can try.
Okay, ready? 1.
and you fail.
Hanukkah's about being who you are. I'm sure being a rhinoceros is fine. But being, well, what you really are is fine too.
Oh, whatever you are? I'm not sure if that's a racial jab or a sexual jab, but I'm sure it's still pretty dickish.
What happened to Mata Hari and his kids?
Mattathias, dear, well, he died. But his son, Judah, and his followers soon became known as the Maccabees because they were such strong fighters. But the enemy the Maccabees fought was also strong, and not every battle was a victory.
Why do you have to be so creepy about it? We see how the Maccabees sat starving around a pink paper flame, but Judas there to remind them of what they're fighting for.
Would you rather our whole nation wither without the food of the soul? Would you see our very being dissolve into the desert air like dust?
Oh, Judah, we all want the same thing.
Sex.
Who goes there?
It's a friend!
Look, supplies from the village!
Okay, I can't be the only one who wishes they'd done this instead.
Look, supplies from the village!
Supplies!
When they were just about to give up their struggle, they were reminded that the fight was not just for themselves, but for all Jews, and for the future.
I don't know, doesn't having the food arrive just in time kinda diminish the power of that moral? We're starving! People, remember, we fight for our religious freedom! Of course, Judah, you're— Hey, food, yay! And we're gonna win our religious freedom, right? Yeah, sure. Food! Oh yeah, and remember how Anton turned the stove all the way up?
Something is burning.
Oh my!
Good thing Bubbe had the siren and firefighter hat on standby.
What do you think you're doing? Look, you've ruined my new and improved latkes.
I love that Anton doesn't care at all that he caused a potential fire hazard. Sure, he could have just burned the house down, but screw that! Bubbe ruined his latkes!
You've forgotten the most important ingredient. The reason we make latkes is to remember the miracle of
The oil!
I don't use oil in my latke recipe.
Well, then you're not really celebrating Hanukkah, Anton.
You're right. You're right. That really isn't celebrating Hanukkah. No, it's not. It really isn't. You know, it has to be, it's a known fact that celebrating Hanukkah has to include using oil in your latkes. Hell, it needs to involve latkes at all. You know, I'm not really much of a latke guy myself. I normally just, light the candles and sing, maybe have some Krispy Kreme, and hopefully a present if I'm lucky that night, but I guess I haven't really been celebrating Hanukkah, have I? No, apparently I wasn't. We need to do things the way you're saying them, with, oil and latkes. You know what? You're kind of being like Anton here. Yeah, that's right, I said it. You're kind of being like Anton. You know what, this makes me wonder. You're preaching that be yourself. Meanwhile, Anton's all, I want to do things my way. Those are kind of contradicting each other. Yeah, contradicting each other. You could argue that Anton he's just doing things his way. And he's doing things his way, but by doing that, he's being himself. Yeah. You say that? You say that, you hypocrite? You freaking jackass! But what do I know? Apparently, I haven't really been celebrating Hanukkah, like I said. I don't like you, Zach. I don't. Back in the story, the war continues. Apparently back in those days, war was just throwing fake spears around. And Bubbe is strangely nonchalant about the casualties.
Many lives had been lost in the battle for freedom. Even the great Judah Maccabee was now gone.
A bunch of people, including the leader, just got killed, no biggie. So the Jews fix up the temple and light the lamp? I always thought it was a menorah, but I could be wrong. And of course the flames stayed burning for 8 days. Now everyone gathers to light the menorah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
It can't be. It just can't be.
Otav v'tzivanu.
No, say it isn't so! It's making me feel! I'm serious. This is seriously a really nice moment that captures the feeling of Hanukkah. It makes me feel like I'm at the table with my family with the lights turned down and singing as we light the menorah. It's one of my favorite moments of the holiday, and this weird little puppet video actually got it rather nicely. Yarmulke's off to them, I guess.
Blessed are you, who has made us holy with your commandments, and commanded us to light the Hanukkah lights.
Blessed are you, O Lord our God.
Okay, is the puppet reading off of cue cards?
Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who made miracles for our ancestors in those days at this time.
So everyone takes a seat at the table, and we reach the point where I begin to question whether Anton's an adult or a 4-year-old.
I don't want to sit at the table. Those latkes aren't as good as mine, and I won't eat them. Hanukkah's a dumb holiday anyway. Who wants to light candles and spin toys? I'd rather light firecrackers or go trick-or-treating. Those are fun holiday things to do.
You know, I have to admit, the more I watch this thing, it sort of does grow on me in an I laugh when I think about it sort of way, and Anton is the poster child of that. I mean, just pretty much, like, his voice, his demeanor, but really everything about him, it just amuses me so much. And this scene right here is the pinnacle of that. So, thank you, Anton. Thank you for the new memories. I mean it.
All day long I've been trying to fit in by being like other people. That's not what the Maccabees would have done. I should just be me and be proud of what I am. So I'm gonna stay right here and celebrate Hanukkah with my friends.
Yeah!
I don't know, isn't this kind of just conforming to what they want him to be? And again, couldn't you argue that Anton's just being himself? So you're sort of going against your generic moral then, aren't you? Yeah, go ahead and sing again, it ain't gonna save things. So Anton finally joins them.
These do smell good. Maybe I will join you. I can always taste these and tell you where you went wrong.
In a forced Deus Ex Machina kind of way, and... Wait a minute, there's still people outside trying to guess the password? Well, any second we're gonna go back inside the house and see things wrap up, right? What? You're rolling the credits? Aren't they phrasing out there? How long have they been stuck outside? And they don't get back in? That's horrible! The morning after Hanukkah. Oh, brisk scraps, there are 2 dead animals on my porch. Well, I guess I know what we're having for breakfast.
Bubbe's boarding house.
And that was Hanukkah at Bubbe's. What do I think? Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas, happy past Hanukkah, have an excellent holiday, and an incredible new year. Hope to see you again in the mist.
Confusing, quarrelsome cornflake, stand back!
Granny will bust a cap in your ass!